So the Queen of England passed away recently, and understandably there was an outpouring of support.
I was deeply sad to find out about the death of Her Majesty.
Scotland loved, respected and admired her.
The thoughts and prayers of the American people are with the people of the United Kingdom.
At the same time, there were certain countries who, let's say, have had unsatisfactory experiences with the British in the past, and so many of those countries followed the policy of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. There are some, however, that are not following this policy. There are some that are busy with a completely different enterprise.
Authoritative genealogical records of historical families for more than 190 years, Queen Elizabeth is a descendant of Islam's Prophet Muhammad.
Still, look, condolences to the people of England from our end, because as you know, this is a classy, sophisticated show. Now, while most people in the West decided that, look, this is a great opportunity to express our condolences to the British Queen's family and to the British people and move on. However, there were some people like Tucker Carlson, a man who used to really love bow ties. I mean, really love bow ties. But then who got roasted so badly by Jon Stewart.
I think you're a good comedian. I think your lectures are boring. Let me ask you a question on the news.
Now, this is theater. I mean, it's obvious.
No,
how old are you?
35.
And you wear a bow tie.
Yeah, I do. I do.
So this is...
No, I know.
So
You're right. No, let me just go. No, come on.
And listen, I'm not suggesting that you're not a smart guy, because those are not easy to tie. But the thing is
that he had to stop wearing bow ties altogether.
I will remember you.
Carlson decided that this was a great opportunity for some good old-fashioned casual family racism and used the opportunity in praising the Queen to dunk on former British colonies.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what do you say, fuck me?
Somehow took over the world and ruled it with decency unmatched by any empire in human history.
Really, man? This racist trope is as old, as dead, and as stale as... It's too soon for that joke. Listen, first of all, to see an American simping for the British Queen like this should be a matter of national shame, because you may remember that the Americans defeated the British in a brutal revolutionary war. Watching Tucker Carlson simping for the British Queen, people like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson must be rolling in their graves so hard that whoever's guarding the cemetery where these people are buried must be shitting themselves. Carlson believes that the British Empire was far more humane and polite than other empires. So remember, kids, rape, brutal executions.
He shoots and he does not give any warning. So people scramble here, there, they try and, there's no hiding place in the bog. It's totally a barren land. So they fall into the well while running. They try and clamber over the walls where they're shot. All the eyewitness accounts are so dreadful. I mean, I really found it difficult to read some of them because it's so awful what he did.
Forced starvation of millions of people, something that can only be described as a Holocaust.
The most famous example, of course, was the Great Bengal Famine during the Second World War, when 4 million people died because Winston Churchill deliberately, as a matter of written minuted policy, proceeded to divert essential supplies from civilians in Bengal to sturdy Tommies and Europeans as reserve stockpiles. He said that the starvation of anyway underfed Bengalis mattered much less than that of sturdy Greeks. This is Churchill's actual quote.
Is all okay if you do it politely. If only Hitler had sent the Jews to the concentration camps with some nice music. If only the guards at Auschwitz had given the Jews some nice compliments before they burnt them alive. Carlson would have probably supported the Holocaust. Polite rape and murder. That's what gets Tucker Carlson really hard.
They left behind an entire civilization, a language, a legal system, schools, churches, and public buildings, all of which are still in use today. Here's the train station the English built in Bombay, for example. There's nothing like that in Washington, D.C. right now, much less in Kabul or Baghdad. Today, India is far more powerful than the UK, the nation that once ruled it. And yet, after 75 years of independence, has that country produced a single building as beautiful as the Bombay train station that the British colonialists...
So according to Tucker Carlson, this is how Indians communicated with each other before the British arrived. This is the part of the video that obviously most people have the most amount of problem with, but then it's not really surprising. Because this is a very typical Christian supremacist mindset. See, I could spend the next 40 minutes explaining the antiquity, simplicity, yet beauty of the language of Sanskrit, which existed thousands of years before Tucker Carlson's Lord and Savior even existed. I could talk about the sheer number of languages that Sanskrit has birthed. I could spend the next 40 minutes talking about India's grand history of architecture. I could talk about Akshardham Temple, which maybe it doesn't beat Victoria Terminus, but I'm pretty sure it gives it some very stiff competition. I could spend the next 40 minutes listing out the huge list of pre-British Indian achievements in science, in literature, how India achieved the so-called Enlightenment values of universal rights, mutual respect, reciprocity, individual liberty, and free speech centuries before the Europeans, who, by the way, had to fight, scratch, claw, and literally wrestle these rights away from their church over a period of nearly 2,000 years. I could talk about how the Renaissance and the Enlightenment, hell, even the writing of the American Constitution, wasn't a result of Christianity, but was a clear revolt against Christianity's principles. I could talk about how, according to scholars like Andrew Seidel, Stephen Greenblatt, and Thomas E. Ricks, the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and even the writing of the United States Constitution came about because of Europe's rediscovery of pagan literature and pagan philosophers like Epicurus, like Lucretius, Plato, Aristotle, Cato, Cicero, and many others. This pagan literature and these pagan philosophies allowed Europe to stop being afraid from questioning authority, gave them the courage to think freely and explore the world and explore the universe beyond the restrictions of the religious ideology that had been foisted upon them. It is all due to the same pagan culture that Tucker Carlson hates so much. I could spend the next 40 minutes talking about the sheer amount of money that the British looted from India.
The British looted as much as $45 trillion. Let that number sink in. $45 trillion between 1765 and 1938. Just so that you get a sense of how big this sum is, let me give you another figure. The amount of money that the British looted from India, $45 trillion, is 17 times the current GDP of the UK. 17.
How basically everything that the Queen wears has been stolen from different countries. How the British left India, an impoverished, starving husk of a country. When they left India, the literacy rate was in the toilet. An overwhelming majority of the population lived in abject poverty. The country that was considered the land of plenty, who had barely ever known a famine, saw a famine basically every year. And if Tucker Carlson is aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when you're starving and you're not even sure if you're gonna make it to tomorrow, making pretty buildings is pretty low on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I could talk for 40 minutes about the British Museum itself, but thankfully John Oliver has done that job for me.
The entire British Museum is basically an active crime scene.
There's so much stolen stuff there that the British Museum in itself is a meme genre.
Okay, so like, you know how when you get robbed you never see your stuff again? Well, apparently there's a place in London where you can go and just see all the stuff that's been taken. Okay, so we just got to the British Museum.
And it's not just these horrible pagan countries that the British have committed atrocities against. Even many nice Europeans have been affected by the British. Look at how the British subjugated and humiliated the Welsh.
Traditional requirements would mean that the Prince of Wales would become a new person and a new Englishman. It would be, I think, a really meaningful and powerful gesture, let's say, for that title to no longer be held in the same way as it has before. Make a break there. Put some things that have been wrongs of the past right. Don't necessarily, just because of habit and without thinking, just carry on that tradition that was started as a humiliation to our country. You rose up, you tried to do this, do our England do it. I will now make always the son of the monarch be the Prince of Wales. And that is a reminder of a humiliation. Why not change that?
British atrocities against the Scots and the Irish are very well known already. I can talk about how Tucker Carlson says that Indians got free speech from the British, while at the same time the British are today jailing protesters against the monarchy. Questioning the Holocaust in Europe can land you in jail. That's the free speech he's talking about. There's only one country in the West that has absolute free speech, and that is America. And do you know why? Because half of America's founders were borderline pagans. He talks about how Indians got trains because of the British. Well, then how the hell did the Indians get the metro? Did they just wake up one day and were like, the hell? Who made that train? Did you make it? Did you make it? Well, I guess we can go watch couples fight in there. I could talk about how it's a bit rich to be attacked by a culture where a very large section of the people believe that there is a pedo ring in their country that is literally eating children. That it's a bit rich to be attacked by a country who 2 years after their election still aren't sure if the elections were fair. Whereas in India, a much more complex electoral was completed without a hitch. I could talk about how it's a bit rich to be attacked by a country where there is as much street shitting going on right now as the former British colonies that they look down on so much. I could talk about how rich it is to be attacked by a country that believes in rationality only when it's convenient to them.
I don't give a shit coming out my balls out, walking down the street, because that's what Jesus said in John 13. I read it in my Bible study class. I don't give a fuck. And if I get it, I'm going to the hospital and be like, all right, fix me. You were right. They were all patriotic for years. America, love it or leave it. Support the troops. You know, I could get the fuck out. America, love it or leave it. All right, take the vaccine. Well, I don't trust the government.
Or how rich it is to be attacked by a culture that tells us that they believe in individual liberty, but who also wants to legislate who you can sleep with, who also want to legislate what a woman can do with a fetus growing in her body, and why you will go to hell and be tortured forever for not believing in their God. Smells a little bit like hypocrisy, if you ask me. And look, I understand that some of the arguments I am making are a little bit facetious. I understand there are some ad hominem attacks in here, and I am also building some straw man arguments. Truth is that the West has many enviable things that I truly, genuinely admire. I admire absolute free speech in America, something that I deeply wish that India had. I admire the West's commitment to good law and order, something I wish India had. The West has good economic conditions, a respect for scientific temper. They have a deep pride in their culture and their civilization, something again that I deeply wish more Indians had. There are also many problems with India. India in many ways today is still a feudal society, mired in caste-based discrimination and violence. Hell, many Indians are actually busy proving Tucker Carlson's point. Big actors and influencers who will tell you that Indian royal families promote Brahminical patriarchy were busy offering their condolences to the British Queen and celebrating her life. Indians were in the comment section of every single video about the Queen talking about how much they love her. They were going more gaga over the Queen than even the British people were. See, this is what happens. You didn't stop them when they were posting all those Bobs and Regine comments, and now here we are. In fact, adding more strength to Tucker Carlson's argument, even the Indian government that wants to rid itself of all colonial hangovers was busy doing this.
हमें गुलामी से मुक्ति चाहिए. हमारे मन के भीतर दूर-दूर 7 समंदर के नीचे भी गुलामी का तत्व नहीं बच रहना चाहिए.
So, he's not 100% wrong. And clearly there are many things that the West is better than the Asian and African countries at this point in time. But then this is the difference between proponents of Hindutva and Christian supremacists like Tucker Carlson. See, I understand that some of the attacks that I made on the West are unfair. Indians are very comfortable with mutual respect. They have no issue giving respect to the West in return for the same respect. The difference with Tucker Carlson is that he believes 100% in all the things that he said. See, he could very easily have been proud of his culture, made his condolences to the British Queen, and not tried to dunk on former British colonies. But he can't help himself because what he says here is the most important part.
The British Empire spread Protestant Christianity to the entire world.
See, like I said, Tucker Carlson is a Christian supremacist. His religion created a clear distinction between the civilized and the uncivilized, the believers and the non-believers, the redeemed and the irredeemable. He doesn't believe in mutual respect. He believes in my way or eternal damnation. And this is where the narrative of civilizing the natives comes from. The non-believers are savages who must be civilized by converting them into the one true religion. That indeed is the white man's burden. And that is exactly why the Christian Pope issued commandments to the various European countries that went to explore non-European lands when they said that it is vital to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all pagans whatsoever. Because Christianizing the pagans was equivalent to civilizing their barbarous tendencies. And as a result of this civilizing mission, there are massive parts of the world whose cultures have been permanently destroyed in the name of giving them the gift of Christianity, something that didn't even bloody want. It's like someone coming up to you and saying, here, you can have this wooden plank that I know you don't want, but here's the great thing. In exchange for this wooden plank, we will take all of your money, we will destroy all your farmlands with unsustainable farming practices, and we will kill your entire family, including the family dog. I think that's a fair trade, isn't it? See, Tucker Carlson's religion used justification from the Bible and various religious leaders to create a justification for race-based slavery. See, pre-Christian slavery was not race-based. Romans, Greeks, and even the Ottomans took slaves from everywhere. That's not to say that that slavery was good just because it was more diverse. Slavery, bad, always. But the point is that the colonial powers are the ones that mainstreamed race-based slavery. And so at the end of the day, you might be annoyed or outraged at what Tucker Carlson said, but you can't really be surprised, can you? This is what Tucker Carlson is. He is a run-of-the-mill Christian supremacist. There are many things that Tucker Carlson may have said in other videos that you may have agreed with. But at the end of the day, a Christian supremacist like Tucker Carlson will never consider other cultures his equal in any way. And look, there is a fix to people like this. But unfortunately, it's a slow fix. And that fix is for Asian countries to eventually overtake and leave behind Western countries economically. That is the only thing that will bring these countries and these supremacists down to earth. Unfortunately, that solution is still a long way away, but it is coming. And that's what scares supremacists like Tucker Carlson. The idea of permanent Western Christian supremacy that these supremacists have cultivated over the last 300 years is going to come crashing down within this century. So my message to Tucker is, enjoy it while it lasts. And I want to ask you, what did you think of the comments Tucker Carlson made? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. If you like this English series that I have been making, then let me know in the comment section which topic I should make the next English video on. If you like today's episode, please make sure to give it a like, give it a thumbs up. It helps me out. It helps the channel out a great deal as well. I will see you for the next episode and for the Thursday podcast. And until then, to all of you, stay healthy, stay happy. I'll see you next time. And to all of you, a secular pronoun.